watching Morning at NTV.
Okay, on this conversation, we are going to be talking about the role of laboratories in Uganda and how best we can pull Ugandans to actually start analyzing their blood before they go to any pharmacist to give them any prescription. You've realized one too many times Ugandans will just rush off to a pharmacy and ask the doctor, hey, you know what, I have a stomach ache or a headache, I do not know what the problem is. And the pharmacist, even before taking you for a checkup, they'll just give you some prescription and you might be treating something that you're not suffering from. That is why it's very, very important so that you visit a laboratory before starting any medication. So right about now, I have Mr. Omoni Emmanuel. He's a lab manager from Mild May Hospital. So he's going to be helping us understand why is it important for you as an average Ugandan to go to a laboratory first before you embark on any treatment regimen. A very good morning and thank you for joining us, Mr. Emmanuel.
Thank you very
much.
much.
How is Mild May?
Mild May is fine.
Yes.
We are glad that we've been invited to be able to share to viewers regarding their health.
And it's amazing to have you on this show because in the past we've had officials confiscate fake microscopes from some health centers. So I'm thinking if I go to this health center where they're using a fake microscope, I will not get credible results in that regard. So to help us understand, why does an average Ugandan need to access laboratory services before getting treatment?
The lab is the cornerstone of any health institution. It is important that accurate diagnosis is done before you making treatment because then you will have a lot of burden in terms of costs. It's like witchcraft.
True.
You're trying to treat something that you are not aware of. So it's important that the lab does the proper identification, diagnosis of what is actually the cause, the root cause of the infection that you're having. And you know, diseases look alike. It shouldn't be like witchcraft that you're given any drug. It's important to identify the disease and the targeted treatment is provided. Yes.
To avoid treating the wrong ailment, is that the only reason why Ugandans should be flocking the laboratory first?
Yes.
And the second one?
The second one is cost. Before you are identified for a particular disease, if you're just treating without that due process of lab investigations, then you're going to have a lot of costs put in treatment. One of the costs is your life as well, because in that process, you could find yourself, dead, because it's important to get the right treatment for the right disease, rather than put costs and then get things like right now there's a burden of antimicrobial resistance because people are taking treatment that is not for the cause of the infections.
So it makes your body's immunity system resistant to the drugs that you're trying to take in.
Yes. Yeah. So it's important for the lab to be able to identify whether if it's microbes, it's important that they know what microbes and also advise the clinicians on what treatment to provide. Yeah.
So, and how credible are these results? Like I've mentioned earlier, we've had conversations where officials flocked some health centers, getting those quack doctors who had fake microscopes. So I'm thinking, if I go to this health center with a fake microscope, I'm going to get the wrong results. So how credible are these results?
I think just like whatever we consume, when you go to the supermarket, it's very important that you look at the product that you're picking. One of the things that in lab service that we are interested in is one, the national legal requirements. Does that lab meet those requirements? Is international standards. The Mild May lab is an international accredited facility. That means we are assessed on a regular basis to provide quality and reliable results. And any facility, any laboratory should be able to be assessed nationally and internationally to meet the standards of a laboratory. Yeah.
So how long should a normal lab test take?
A normal lab test is dependent on what tests you are taking. There are hundreds or thousands of investigations. And the clinician should be able to have good clinical acumen to be able to identify which lab investigation to do, and that will determine the time. Yeah. But it varies. You could have others 1 hour, others could even take as well as 27 days. Yeah.
So what's your advice to what's your advice right there for unsuspecting patients who might be interfacing with these fake quack doctors?
The advice I will give to any person that moves to get medical care, one is it's important to see whether this facility is actually recognized. There are so many quack labs in town. It's important to see the registration. Are they registered with Allied Health? Are they registered with Allied Health? And then the personnel that are in there, do they have practicing license? As a Ugandan, you may not be able to look for, easily do that. But it's good to do that background investigation to know which lab you're getting service from. Because these quack labs do not do quality control for even the tests that they do perform. These are quite costly things that needs to be done in the lab. Before you run any tests, the quality controls, internal quality controls must be done. But also employing quality and professional, qualified and professional personnel in the facility. But also monitoring the equipment, that they are in a state functional to provide quality and reliable results. Mildmay Lab is assessed also by international bodies regularly to be able to check whether all these requirements are met, besides the national requirements. And it's important for an individual to take initiative to find out which labs really meet requirements. Yeah.
Does Mildmay have any pro bono activities for some indigent patients that might not be verifiably able to pay for those laboratory services, but then they need that help? Do you have any pro bono services that you offer as Mildmay Hospital?
Yes, we do. We do
like
offer
community outreach exercises.
Yes, we do, in partnership with the Ministry of Health and our funders, CDC. I really appreciate them for their support. We are providing HIV, specialist HIV care beyond the general. Of course, Mildmay is a general hospital, and we provide several other services, multidisciplinary, medical, surgical, pediatrics, ops and gyns, pharmaceutical, and with specialty in, of course, HIV, like I mentioned, the elderly, the eye clinic. So there's lots of services, just like a general hospital. But the funding we have is for HIV, HIV care. And diseases in relation to that, like tuberculosis, diseases like some non-communicable diseases like diabetes, we get some bit of support, not wholly. Yes.
Yes, in a minute, as we wrap up, please, do you have any final remarks for the people who are watching the show right there at home?
My final remarks is for the viewers is that we really have to take our health very, very importantly. And on an annual basis, it's important to do medical surveillance of our health. Meaning every year you do a set of investigations, and that you can ask your providers. Mildmay is one of the places located in Lueza. You could walk in there and try to do a set of tests to know how you're doing. There's a lot of rise in non-communicable diseases, diabetes, pressure, and all that. But it's important even before you have shown signs, that you come, be assessed, and you get an interpretation of how you're standing in your health. Do not wait to fall.
Extremely ill.
Do not wait to fall down out of heart attack or out of anything else.
Yes.
But come, do investigation. Don't wait for clinical signs. Yes, it's important when you develop clinical signs. Don't run to the witch doctors, but run straight to
the medical doctors right there. Emma Omoni, the lab manager at Mildmay Hospital. Thank you very much for having made the time to speak to us. He has some really, really good advice. Before you run off to the witch doctor, ensure that you visit a laboratory first and you get that verifiable information that, hey, you're suffering from disease A or disease B before you get any treatment. And before we move away, Odonga Oto also mentioned to me while he was here that if Museveni gives Kasekende and Mutebire another contract, they'll be holding a demonstration in that regard. I just hoped I would let you know on that. Right about now, we've come to an end. My name is Romeo Busiku. We'll be here tomorrow, same time, 6:30 a.m. all the way to 9 a.m. Up next, BBC Money Daily. Go out there and make it happen. Good morning.